Bienvenidos a Generación Latina, your host here, Carolina Peña, and this week we are back with a great opportunity to meet students like you who are going to be seen on the big screen. So pay attention to what we have this evening. We are featuring two students from Montgomery County Public Schools who have danced their hearts out, and their passion, their love for dancing, their talent has been captured in what's going to become a documentary, and I want you to pay attention to the details later on as we're also going to be watching the trailer. But this evening we have an opportunity to meet Paula Perot and David, who are here representing Einstein High School. And please tell me a little bit more about yourselves, because you're very involved in what's become not only of the documentary but just years of lots of just dancing and after-school activities and extracurricular daily activities that are transforming the lives of students. So Paula, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And Paula, tell me a little bit more about your role in Einstein High School and specifically with this Latin dance club.
Okay. Well, I'm the World Languages Department chair. I supervise the department. Also teach some classes, 4 classes during the day. But in the afternoon, what takes up a lot of my time is being the sponsor of the Titanes Salseros. It's the Latin dance team, and also the Latin American Students United Hispanic Club at the school, where it's not just the dancing, but a couple of other students that want to be a part of something, want to belong, but are not dancing.
Mm-hmm. And programs like these are kind of popping up, and they're very active in different schools. But I would say that there's even more of an importance in the clubs that are reaching out and that are attracting Latino students because of their lack of participation in school activities, and especially in academics. Tell me more about that and just what you've seen in the participation of students, and also how that has a relationship with their grades.
I definitely think that Titanes Salseros and Lasso is just an opportunity for the students to be involved, feel that they are part of the school, not that they just come, they walk in through the building, they go through their 7 classes, just walking around without true meaning in the building. So I see how they're proud to represent their school. They're proud of what they're doing. And we do have other students, not just Latino students in the group. We've had students from Ethiopia. We've had from just other cultures that just want to be a part of something that maybe just haven't found their place with some of the sports or some of the other clubs that the school offers. But they have found a family. They have found a home with the Titanes Salseros.
So, David, tell me more about yourself and what got you interested in dancing at Einstein and Titanes Salseros. You've done it for quite some time now, so tell me more about this.
Well, I'm a senior at Albert Einstein High School. I started dancing after in the middle of my freshman year. I went to see Lasso perform at the competition. I went to their competition, and after watching them perform, I was really excited. Everybody was there, like having a really good time, so I decided to join. And ever since then, it's been fun.
But you didn't know any dancing prior to that.
No.
So that took a big step of, you took a risk. I mean, that must have been hard, because normally when you look at kids that dance and they're in dancing groups, you think, wow, they're already really good. Like, I'm not going to fit in.
Yeah.
So what made you think that you could do it just as much as they could?
I always enjoyed dancing at family parties, but I had no training or anything like that. So when I started, everybody that was there was really nice. They started from the basic, and they just helped me work my way up, I guess.
Great. So now you worked your way up in what kinds of dance styles?
Well, the first style that I learned was bachata, and then the main style that I think we dance is salsa. So.
Okay. All right, just to get a feel for the Latin blood in you, where are you from?
My mom is from Peru, and my dad is from Honduras.
Okay, all right. So it's definitely in the blood. I think so. So now, Paula, tell me more about. Now, you guys have been very much a part of a documentary that is soon to be released. Tell me about that idea and how that kind of got started.
Wow, where do I begin? It's just crazy idea. Ricardo Loaiza, that has been around for quite some time. We call him the great grandfather of salsa in the DC area. But in the last few years, we've always needed a place to host the competition, and we've we've struggled with it.
It's always been at schools, right?
It's always been at schools, but there's always been a conflict with football games. We have to find a day that we don't have home football games, or we don't have anybody's homecoming, or there's just always something going on at the schools. And unfortunately, one of the largest auditoriums in the county only holds 1,800 people. And many years we've had to send parents away, unfortunately, and friends, because we have completely sold out, completely overcrowded, oversold, and there's no room. And we've had some angry parents that wanted to come and see their children perform, and unfortunately we've had to send them away. So we've been looking for a bigger place, and I think it was just being at the right time, at the right moment, where somebody from Strathmore heard of what was going on, and one thing led to another, and they offered the opportunity to bring the competition to the music center at Strathmore for the first time ever. And we saw the place. It was an amazing venue, perfect venue. We wouldn't have to argue with football games or anything else. And just such an important venue to host the competition, to bring so many Latinos and so many families that have never been to a venue like the Music Center at Strathmore. I think it was a great opportunity. And then the other idea was HIP TV from Silver Spring. Somebody knew someone, just once again being at the right time, at the right place at the right time, and they loved the idea, they loved the concept of what the schools were doing, and they decided to follow the two teams, the two schools, to see how they got ready before competition. And we found out at 8 o'clock in the morning that they were coming that Friday at 6 p.m. to record, so it was quite an interesting ride for 10 days of recording.
Wow. Okay, so the recording happened over 10 days, and it's kind of the story capturing of you leading up, all the preparation, why do I talk about it? I think you, featured in the documentary, should be the one to talk about what happened. So what was, let's say, your participation documentary? What do you think you added to the story?
Well, Miss Pro told me one morning, Miss Pro, she just told us that Ricardo had gave her this idea, and that they were coming to film us at practice. So it was pretty nerve-wracking.
And because you're dancing, you're just practicing. Yeah. This isn't performance, so that must have been a little bit nerve-wracking, right?
So, yeah.
Because the video lives on, right? I mean, this isn't like TV necessarily.
Yeah, so they started filming us. It was pretty intense.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about the interviews? Did you guys do any interviews, or?
Yeah, we did a few interviews. They were pretty.
There were some interviews, but I think Brian and Andre, who did most of the recording, were very, very easy to get along with, and they followed them around they picked 2 students from each school, and then they followed them to their classes, and they followed David home, and so.
Having like stalkers with that camera.
Yeah, it was exciting.
But you know what? When you were doing the video, though, how did you feel about what was being captured? Like the impact that it might have?
Well, I felt that the people viewing it, I think that they would get an idea of exactly what we do, not just dance. So I think that was pretty exciting, that everybody would be able to see exactly what we are doing.
Yeah, you're not just putting a show that may take a few months to prepare. This is sort of like something that you've worked up for years.
The hard work that we did do.
So, David, let me ask you this. So, what are some, let's say, maybe 3 things, or just a few things that you've gained from your involvement in this very positive cultural experience over the past 3 years? Dancing at your school.
Well, I think that when I first started, I always knew I wanted to get involved in something, but I didn't know quite what. So when I first joined, I was really shy. I think that I gained a lot of confidence. I think my leadership has grown a lot, and I think being able to be a part of the team also was a really good experience for me.
I think a lot of parents would say, hey, I want my kid to have confidence, to be a leader, to learn some teamwork. I mean, these are all great qualities to have, right? Not only in your school, but for college next year, and even in the workforce. I think it's really important. So, and you just would never think that you would learn some of these things while you're dancing, but you do, right? And that's what a lot of kids, I think, don't realize, all the added value, right, that comes with this sort of involvement. Paula, for you, what do you see in the progress of these kids from when they join to when they're competing and then celebrating all the victory?
I think it's a lot of what David just mentioned. It's but if anything, I see the school pride. Just how they know that they are representing their school, that they're representing their culture, that they're our family, they're a huge family. That they know that they can come and rely on their friends and part of the team. Many of them are taking AP classes, so they do spend time with study hall or help each other out when they need any help with homework and things like that. So it is a big family environment, big support group in a way.
And to think that you do this completely outside of the time that you get paid to do. I mean, this is like your volunteer thing, but you devote tons of hours.
Yeah.
So I think I personally want to thank you for that, for giving of yourself like that to these students, to their growth, to their development, and keeping them out of trouble. I think it makes a big difference. So what we're going to do now, and both thank you so much for coming, for talking about this. Now we're going to see you in the trailer, I think, and you as well. And definitely, stay with us, as we are now going to meet in the next segment two other key individuals in the making of this documentary, and really in the life and the heart of what has become this Latin dance competition here in Montgomery County Public School System. So join us.
Who got Michael? Who got Michael? So if you want to fly like a bird, fly. We don't have time for this drama. Either you're going to do this for real or step out.
None of them have ever been to Strathmore. They don't quite necessarily understand what they're getting themselves into.
Let's go, guys, full out, last time!
We want it bad. First place, that's what we're going for everything.
It means a lot to us. This is a really big deal. Like right now, like even my hands are like kind of sweaty, so I'm kind of nervous. I'm really nervous.
Use this anxiety right now and dance your heart out. If you want this, take it tonight.
Love you guys. Love you. 1, 2, 3. 5, 6, 7, 8.
All couples on the stage right now. Okay. This is it. Do it right and do it good.
It'll be loud. I promise it will be loud. That's one thing I can guarantee.
Soy madre soltera, trabajo mucho, llego cansada, estuvo en casa por un mes. No había manera de yo hacerlo reaccionar para que entendiera que tenía que terminar la escuela. O sea, no le entra nada. Me di por vencida y decidí que yo ya no podía hacer nada por él. Si nos damos por vencidos, nuestros hijos no van a salir adelante y está tratando.
Dele a su adolescente el empuje que necesita para graduarse. Llame al 866 Estudia o acompáñenos en boostup.org para consejos prácticos y asesoramiento.
And we're back here at Generación Latina, and here with us in this part of the show, we have a little representation from an up-county high school, Clarksburg High School. So with us is Melissa and Vilma, who's the coordinator. And Melissa, now tell me, you're very much involved in the Xtreme Latin Dance Club there. So tell me, how did this start for you? How long have you been doing it, and where does your Latin dance blood come from?
Okay, well, my parents are from Colombia, and I was blessed to live there for a couple years.
Great.
So I lived there, and then I did Latin dance my sophomore year, and I did graduate 2011, but I'm going back for alumni. And dancing was what we loved to do, and in my parents, we kind of just dance at home, but once you join the team, they always do teach you the technique and the different countings and stuff like that. So it's very interesting to be a part of the Latin dance team.
Great. And is Vilma the teacher, or do you get different teachers? How does that work?
Well, with Ms. Naira, she was our sponsor my second year on the team. Our first sponsor was kind of there just to watch us and helped out a lot, but the students make up what we have. So Ms. Naira does help out a lot. She gives us her time and everything. We really appreciate it, but a lot of things do come from the students and our ideas.
Good, good. Yeah, because you want to be able to, add like the flavor that you want. I mean, everybody comes from different countries and different styles. Like, it all can come together in different ways. But I think that's awesome. Like, now, Vilma, for you, you've been doing this again for years and at different schools. So tell me, I want to know more about your background and how you started supporting this extracurricular activity.
I've been with the county for 11 years. I started at Watkins Mill High School, and that's where I started OLAS, the Organization of Latin American Students, and they became part of this dance team. So it was like two different. You had the members who were part of the Organization of Latin American Students, and then you had the dancers branch out of that group.
Right. Similarly as the setup that Einstein has.
Correct.
Okay.
So I was there for 7 years, and we competed under my sponsorship. Then I transferred over to Clarksburg High School, where my first year there, they already had a sponsor. But Clarksburg is only 5 years old, and a cool little history about that is some of the kids that were in my Latin dance group at Watkins Mill transferred over to Clarksburg.
Oh.
So they started with what they got out of OLAS at Clarksburg, and they named themselves Xtreme, and they started what is now known as Xtreme, the legitimate 5-year group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how extreme are these kids? I mean, like, I'm talking about like the style. What would you say characterizes the students at Clarksburg from all of the other schools?
They're cute. They do definitely bring a different style to what they're used to. A lot of it stems from, I guess, their cultural background and their exposure to different dances. I think a lot of it comes from their home and what they see based off of video clips and on TV. Now, they're not old enough to go out clubbing and dancing quite yet, but now with this alumni that's coming back to help out, because we've only had our 2 graduating classes, I believe, from Clarksburg, they're bringing in what they're picking up from more mature venues, and I think little by little they'll transform into something greater than what they are now.
That's great, because it becomes something that's very organic. Like, you see, the students graduate and then come back and give back again to their schools, but from things that they learn elsewhere. I think that's awesome. So tell me, Melissa, I almost forgot your name. Melissa, what have been, I mean, you've been dancing now for more than 3 years, so what are some of the highlights? What are things that just stand out in your memory, moments that have been glorious or absolutely miserable? Like, what have been, some of the top things from this experience?
Well, I mean, a lot of the top things is being a part of the team. We learn overall, like, just leadership skills. You break the barriers. You have a person, like, I mean, my parents care a lot about my grades, but you have another person pushing you. Like, if you don't have this point average, you're not dancing. I mean, and you're passionate about dancing. Once you start dancing, you want to keep doing it. So it's like you have that extra push. We'll keep your GPA up. You have a D in this class. You better get that up. Things like that helped out. And we also, like, every dance that we have, it's with different groups of kids. So now that I go back, I see it's like my little brother and all his friends. And then we see the alumni, all their little brothers are in it, and all their little sisters. So it's like, you see them growing, and you teach them what you know, and with every dance that we have, everything is so different because all the students are different. We have some Haitians, some Ethiopians, some, you know, different cultures. So it's like, it's exciting to be there. And I think one of the best things that we did have was when we did our Michael Jackson routine. It was the highlight of my Latin dance, everything. Yeah.
Wow. So did you dance like Latin style to a Michael Jackson song, or was
It was Ms. Nahara's a fan of Michael Jackson, and we all knew that it was her first year sponsoring us.
Right.
Yeah, so we knew.
And he died that year.
Yeah, so we knew coming in that she was going to help us out a lot because she's been doing all this for a while. We're in new school. We didn't really have an idea of like what's going on here, what to do, and the people that had started the team had already graduated. So it's like we were building it up again with her. So that year it was different people, all of different ages. I mean, some of them were 18 to 13, 14. And she came out with this brilliant idea that we should make like a little bit of every Michael Jackson routine into this, like, I don't know, it was like 10 seconds maybe. And it was just like the best thing for all of us because we're all so excited. It was like the one thing we all agreed on. Because, you know, it's a common thing like, well, I don't like this move. But with that, we're all like, this is the best idea I've ever had. So it was amazing. It was great.
That's awesome. That's so creative. You can do anything. And obviously, you know, what we see is that you guys are you're making the identity of the school. You're building onto the history of your school. So, Vilma, you know, you've been able to see more of that over your years teaching. So tell me, like, what do you see? What's the importance in doing that for the school, and why should administrators and parents support it?
I think it's important that our Latino kids have something they can identify with in the big school. A lot of times, and when I started at Watkins Mill, and what I continue to do is a lot of times our students don't find their niche in the high school. And I feel with the Latin dance, it's something, one, they can identify with, and two, it's a school thing, so that not only are they doing what's culturally familiar to them, but they're also representing their high school. This is extremely important because they get involved, they become aware, and they build traditions in the school. It's come to a point now where when there's a pep rally and when there's performances wanted, that Xtreme is something that just comes out of everybody's mouth. Where's Xtreme? Or you're part of Xtreme? Or is Xtreme performing today? So it's sort of a culture, and it's become part of the school. And I think that's important, that it's not just only, oh, those kids are doing Latin dance just for this one thing, but, oh, Xtreme came to this event and they support us here. Or the Xtreme kids are doing this in addition to other things. I just feel that they become, like you said, historic in a sense that they've changed themselves, but also the language and the culture of the school.
That's excellent. I think that's sort of the ideal in a way, right? Because we are very much a part of not just the school, but this society, this community, this county. And if you look, you know, considering our numbers and our growth, and we're not represented to the same proportion, right?
Right.
You name it, economically, politically, whatever it may be. But I think that you guys are sort of this little utopia in what you're making, right? And in the voice that you're giving our cultura, our students, you know, and our really just a voice, kind of like a venue, a way to express so many beautiful things about our culture, right? So many dances. So Melissa, tell me, what are some of your favorite Latin dances and why?
Well, with Xtreme, as being Colombian, we don't really dance a lot of bachata. But with Xtreme, for some reason, we love bachata. So it's like the one thing that we'll fight for. Like I don't care what we do. We have to do bachata, even for like 10 seconds. And then we also, I like salsa a lot. But we usually do bachata, salsa, and merengue. And those are my favorite.
So the three main things.
Yeah.
So you haven't been able to like advocate for a little cumbia in there?
Well, yeah, I dance cumbia and cha-cha, and we do like other dances too. For Jack and Jill and stuff, I had to learn it too, so it just kind of happened.
Tell me about Jack and Jill, because this is kind of a, you know, something really neat that happens. And we can see in the documentary, and it's very much a part of a lot of competitions. And just to put it out there, I was in a salsa competition last week. So I did, I won 3rd place in Jack and Jill, but it's okay. And would love to hear more, because you won first, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that. And what is Jack and Jill?
Well, Jack and Jill is where different, I think they picked 2 couples, actually. 2 girls, 2 guys from different schools, from other schools participating. And they put our names, the girls' names, into a bag. They go around in a line. One of the guys picks the name, and you're giving, oh, okay, well, that's your partner. You don't know the person.
You've never danced with them.
You never danced with them. And then if you get the same person as the school, they switch. So there's no way you're going to be dancing with someone you know. And then you go on stage not knowing the person. You don't know what they dance. You don't know anything. And it's just like, hi, let's dance. And they start putting on different music. Last year they did samba, and they did punta, and they did disco, and they did reggaeton, just so many different things that it's out of Latin music too. It's other rhythms and stuff. So when you participate, and it's like a dance-off. You're trying to do your best with your partner and following them and whatever they want you to do. And then eventually the judges start tapping people out. And whoever ends up being last, it's the winner. So it's a very exciting moment for me.
Yeah. And your partner was David, who was just with us, right?
Yes, it was ironic. It was very crazy because we had known that they were doing a documentary on Einstein and on us, but we never thought that it was going to be dancing together.
Yeah.
And so we had that privilege. I had the privilege of dancing with David, and it was great.
That's great. Thank you both. Before we go, real quick, would love for you to just give a shout out to those people that have supported you so much over this whole thing. So, Melissa?
I guess I'd like to thank my parents and really Ms. Nahida, because if it wasn't for her, I don't think we'd be as pushed as we were.
And you?
I'd like to thank my current principal and my past principals, Paula, Ricardo, my family, my friends. They all show up to the competitions, and I guess more than anything, the kids, because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And they make it just rewarding. And it's the relationship piece that's more rewarding than the win is great, but it's this. It's the fact that we can still hang out after graduation and be cool.
Thank you both so much. And for more of these nail-biting, nervous-wracking moments that are going to be featured in the documentary, stay tuned. It's coming out soon, probably at the end of closer to the end of the year. And also, don't forget, as always, generacionlatina.org, where you can watch the trailer, you can watch some of these videos of this great competition, and of course, pictures. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to energy-saving bulbs. Saving energy saves you money.